This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Aurora, Colorado. I am here at Charlie's Carpentry. Since 2000, he has been providing cabinets and custom woodworking for clients across Denver and really the entire state. Charlie, thanks so much for joining us here today. I mean, let's start off a little bit about yourself. We're talking about a quarter of a century that you have had your hands in carpentry of some type. Really, you've worked on things like Bronco Stadium, all the way to the Pepsi Center, $1 million homes, you name it, you've done it. Share with me a little bit how this passion, love of carpentry began for you.
Well, it all started when I was quite young, probably about 10 or 12 years old. I entered the soapbox derby and built my own soapbox derby and entered the annual derby race that they had. And it was a nationwide race that they had, and I'm not sure if they still have it, but anyways, I learned how to work with equipment, drills, all kinds of different types of wood, drill presses and saws and whatnot, and so that's where I really actually started. And I built go-karts after that, you know, just tree forts, and when I was younger, and I just always been interested in woodworking. And been working on, I work construction, framing houses to commercial building as well. And then I got into working at cabinet shops probably 25 years ago, early 90s. And I just loved it. I started off sweeping the floor. Because I loved what everybody was making. And I thought, you know what, I want to start doing that. So that's basically how I started.
That is interesting. I mean, if these hands could talk, basically, you've seen a lot of stuff.
Yes.
I mean, carpentry itself, the trade, I mean, it goes back to biblical times. We're talking about 4000 BC. I mean, way back to the day. Are you proud to be in an industry where basically you still take pride in every piece that you do? And do you think that's something that will be around forever because it should never go out of style?
Well, that's very true. I have a passion for what I do. I love what I do. I'm semi-retired. I'm not totally retired, but I love working, and word of mouth is my best source of business. I have a website as well, charliescarpentry.com, and I get a lot of word of mouth is a majority of my work, and I stay busy. I'm busy as I want to be. But I built some really cool stuff, and I have pictures to show all with that, and we'll have that, I'm sure, in the interview here. But yeah.
Guys like you really don't retire. You always got to be busy, got to be doing something. That's what you enjoy and love. I mean, wood is one of the oldest materials that we have on record of people building with. Share with me some of the type of woods that you've been able to work with in the past.
Sure. Well, basically, when you're framing houses, you're just working with spruce and 2x4s and plywood and strand board and all kinds of just cheap lumber. But then when I started working in the cabinet shops, I started learning about alder, oak, walnut, maple, all species of wood. And I really I almost can look at a piece of wood and tell you what type of wood that is. Not a lot of people can do that, but just the experience that I've had working in cabinet shops, working with all the different types of cabinetry that I've done for houses up in Vail and Aspen and all up there, really beautiful houses. So yeah, that's basically how I learned how to
So now you have an appreciation for wood even more so.
Yes.
Even more so when you had back in the construction. I mean, obviously this is not a dying trade. There's always going to be people that appreciate a quality piece of work, really. Do you think it's even more so now today? I mean, we live in such a instant gratification, snap to build IKEA world. I mean, do you think people really appreciate a piece of work more so now?
Absolutely. And there's a big difference from what I do. I kind of corner the market for out here in Southeast Aurora. There's a lot of new homes, and they have a fireplace, and they've got a niche on each side of the fireplace. And these builders do not supply cabinetry or built-in cabinetry. So that has been my main source of work. So I do a lot of the built-in type cabinets, lower cabinets, and upper shelves, and all species of wood and different stains and whatnot. So I enjoy it. Every project that I work on is different and new to me, and I take pride in what I do.
That is excellent. I mean, you've got a great shop here. I mean, easy access for you to get out there and service the people here. The facility you provided, is this something you always had kind of a dream of something you hope you'd have?
Absolutely. I've always had a little corner in the basement of the garage or something like that, but I just kind of made this is a tandem garage, and all my equipment's in the front half, and everything's on wheels, so I can just wheel everything out and work here after I back my truck out. And so it's plenty of space for what I do. Occasionally I get some big projects and I have to stack cabinets along the wall, and it's a little tight with my truck, but it's all worth it and I love it. It's great.
Let's start off talking a little bit about cabinets. We're talking about the heart of any home is the kitchen.
Yes.
And obviously the focal point of that kitchen are cabinets. I mean, I have to think that's one place that somebody can really start a great remodel or a total look just by the cabinets. Is that something you enjoy doing, going in and really vamping it up?
Yes, and part of my service is I design, I speak with the customer, the client, and we talk about what they would like, and I let them know what the designers are actually doing, and we come to an agreement on a design or style. I draw everything that I build, I draw up. I had drafting and architecture growing up and went to college learning that, so I do it old hand. I still draw things out. I can do AutoCAD, but not as well. So I draw everything up, I show the client, they okay it, they send me a deposit, and I'm on my way.
Here we go. So basically designed by you, built by you, they're installed by you.
Yes.
All they have left to do is what? Put stain on them, paint on them, or is that something you actually do yourself?
I actually do that as well. If it's a larger project and they want it painted white or a color that matches the trim in their house, they usually hire somebody themselves to do that. But if it's a bench seat, like a mudroom or something like that, I will stain the bench seat, and because I take pride, I want it to look nice. I spent a lot of time on building that piece of furniture. I want it to look great, so I do a lot of it myself as well.
You have worked in many homes. You've worked some $1 million homes, a lot of the ski towns close by here in the past. Do you enjoy going in and really beautifying a home? I mean, the homes are beautiful to begin with, but you're really beautifying their home, giving them something that works with the rest of the environment. Is that something you're looking at while you're giving a consultation?
Oh yes, absolutely. With my experience working with different builders and different cabinet shops and things like that, I have learned a lot of little tricks. So I'll go in and I'll say, hey, you know what, we could do a little secret door here for you inside the cabinet that you can hide your weapon or your cash or whatever. So I have a lot of little things that I add to the cabinets, and I just run it by the clients, and if they like it, then I do it. But yeah, I have a lot of secrets and things.
I mean, when it comes to the job you're doing, we're talking about shelving, coat hangers, little secret compartments. You're not only making beautiful work, but this work has to be functional. It's got to be something people can actually use. And is that something that you talk back and forth about and decide how they're going to even use it?
Absolutely. For instance, a cabinet is just basically a box, and the majority of the cabinets I build have a face frame, and then I build the doors from scratch. And the majority of the doors that I build different styles, but what's very popular is the shaker style door. It's just a square frame with a flat panel, and it's just, everybody's building that, and all the cabinet shops. So that's one of the items that I do. And I also do all the machining for the hinges to make sure that everything works properly. There's slide out shelves, soft close, where they go in real soft and close real nice. I do that as well.
That is interesting. I mean, you mentioned before, I mean, we live in a cold state of Colorado. We see many fireplaces in many homes. I imagine mantles is something people love to add on to their home. I mean, can a mantle pretty much be added to any existing fireplace?
Yes, absolutely. I worked at a cabinet shop, a mantle shop where they built just mantelpieces, surround mantelpiece with the legs, and beautiful stuff. And I worked there for a few years, and I add that to what I do now. I build custom mantelpieces. I do a lot of different styles and species of wood and stains as well.
I mean, when I think of woodworking, I think of carpentry, I think of furniture. Myself, I'm thinking of things like chairs and stools. Is that something you delve into a little bit as well?
I have, but it's not profitable for me to do that type of work. They have shops that they specialize in that, and they can whip up a chair in a day. It might take me a little longer, so it's not. Some of those items are not profitable to me, and you could probably get a lot cheaper somewhere else. And I direct my clients to situations like that. I try to help them out with that. I don't leave them hanging and say, well, I don't do that. And
exactly.
No, I help everybody out.
If it's a good fit for you, then you basically let them know. If not, take care of them. I mean, you've done work, not only residential, but also commercial work. Regardless of the type of job you do, are we talking about estimates? Is that where it starts? And is that something you provide for free, complimentary?
Yes, I do. Estimates are, to me, when I first started out, were kind of a iffy situation because I felt like I was being used. That people would call and they wanted me to give them an estimate on something, and they'd say, hey, we're going to go a different direction, and then I find out they hire somebody else that, and so I give that service, but it's a learning process. It's hard to estimate, lumber and estimate time. I can come close, and I'm pretty successful with that part of what I do, estimating. Yes.
That is interesting. As we said before, the carpentry trade has been around for centuries, many years. Is it still rewarding for you knowing you're providing a piece, a project, something that's going to outlive you? Hopefully it's going to be here years later on. Is that something you sometimes think about as you put something in someone's home?
Oh yes, absolutely. I wonder, especially the built-in cabinets that I do with the shelving and things, they'll be there until the house is destroyed. So we're talking, 50, 60 years sometimes. So, and I've got a rubber stamp with Charlie's Carpentry on there, and we'll see what happens down the road if somebody would call me 20 years from now and say, hey, we took apart a cabinet, we've got your name and number. And so, yes, I do think about that a lot. Yes.
I enjoyed coming out sharing your story because I think of somebody who was building little soap cars. I mean, you and your family building little cars, and now you've actually worked on things that are still there, maybe in the Pepsi Center, still there in the Broncos Stadium, in people's homes. That's got to be exciting for you to look back and realize that you put your hands to good use.
Yes, I have. Yes, I enjoy it. It's a passion, as I mentioned, and I will do it until my final days. I'll always have a little bit of a cabinet shop somewhere where I can get out and just work. If it's just a couple hours a day, I enjoy it. I love it.
Excellent. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is his website. First of all, on the website, check out the reviews. You're going to find people out there that basically have put their trust into someone who really has been doing this for over a quarter of a century, broke out on his own in 2000, and basically it's a learning process. This is a trade that has been around for years. Check out a lot of the images. Obviously, we've been putting them on the screen for you. If you're not sure if it's something that you're looking at, you're not sure what it is you want, sit down with him, see if he can design something for you, and basically come in and provide a piece of work that you're going to be proud of. Once again, that is Charlie's Carpentry, paying close attention to detail right here in Denver. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.